kids, Mr. Brett here. If you're having a good day, say, oh yeah. Oh, come on. I said if you're having a good day, say, oh yeah. That's better. Well, I am excited about today's story, because in today's story, we're going to look again at God's big story. And anytime we look at God's big story, we want to remind ourselves of just how big that story is. So, today, I'm going to take the Bible and we're going to put it in 50 words. Now, the Bible has a lot more words than just 50, but today we're going to sum it up in 50 words. So, I want you to tune in, hang on, and listen to these 50 words as we walk through the Bible in just those 50 words. Ready? Here we go. God made, Adam bit, Noah arced, Abraham split, Jacob fooled, Joseph ruled, Bush talked, Moses balked, Pharaoh plagued, people walked, sea divided, tablets guided, promise landed, Saul freaked, David peaked, prophets warned, Jesus born, God walked, love talked, anger crucified, hope died, love rose, spirit flame, word spread, God remained. And there it is. The Bible in 50 words. You probably noticed the pictures that were coming up as we were walking through that. And the Bible's more than just 50 words, but it's good to see it in one big continuous story, because that's what it is. And today we're going to look at the story of Abraham. Now, who was Abraham and where did he come from? Well, let's go back and remember. Remember Noah and the flood? Well, you also remember that Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And you see, Shem had a kid who 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 had Abram, or his name was changed to Abraham. And that's what we know him most as. And see, Abraham had a wife named Sarah, and they had a kid named Isaac. And then Isaac eventually had a kid named Jacob, but we're going to talk about Abraham and Isaac today. And one day, God tested Abraham. He told him to take his son Isaac and take him up on a mountain. And you know what he told him to do? He told him to sacrifice him as a burnt offering. Can you believe that? Why would God tell somebody to sacrifice their son? I mean, that's crazy. You know, Mr. Brett just had a daughter a few months ago, my little baby girl. Here's a picture of her. And you know what? I can't imagine taking my sweet baby girl and God telling me, hey, you have to sacrifice her. I mean, that just blows my mind. It doesn't make any sense. But that's what God told Abraham to do. He said, I want you to take your son Isaac. I want you to take him up on the mountain, and I want you to sacrifice him. And so you know what? That's what Abraham did. He took Isaac and they went up to the mountain, and the whole time Isaac's probably thinking that they're going to sacrifice a lamb. But when they get up there, Abraham says, no, my son, you are the sacrifice. And I can't imagine the heart-wrenching conversation that had to be for Abraham, to know that he was going to have to kill his son. And you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of the story of Jesus. Because you see, God sent Jesus, his son, to be sacrificed for us. Can you believe that? Can you believe that God loves us that much that he would send his only son to die for us? Wow, that's love right there. But back to our story. Because you see, Abraham was willing to do it. And he put Isaac on that altar, and he pulled up the knife, and he was getting ready to kill his son. And then God stopped him and said, Abraham, I realize now that you trust me, that you were willing to be obedient in something as serious as this. And so you know what the good news was? he didn't have to sacrifice his son Isaac. And that was good news. And God was just testing him to see if he really trusted God, and he did. You know what? What is God doing in your life? What is he trying to teach you? What are some of the things that he is trying to communicate to you and to see if you really trust him? I mean, do you really trust God? Or do you trust your video games? Or do you trust your friends? Or do you trust your parents? Well, should you trust your parents? Well, yeah. Do you trust your teachers? Should you trust them? Well, yeah. What about police officers and firefighters? Should you trust them? Well, yeah. What about your preacher? Should you trust your preacher? Well, yeah, but ultimately, we ought to trust God. Because, other people, even your preacher, will sometimes let you down. But God never does. And so, I want everybody to say this with me on the count of 3. I want you to say, we will trust God. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right. I want you to say it one more time in case you missed it. We will trust God. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Good job. And I hope you do. I hope you're not just saying that. I hope you really mean it. And I hope that you live your life that way. Because there's no life like a life that's trusting God. Well, until next time.